I wish I lived in a marginal seat. Then my vote would actually count. I wish I lived in a marginal seat. Then I could control the amount of swings that occur at every election in either direction. Don't care who wins, just give me a say. But my seat doesn't sway, so I might as well draw a penis or a vagina. I guess I'll decide on the day. They're both very strong candidates. I'm always torn, it's a difficult choice, but one must be drawn as I stand in the booth. It's my moment of truth, but deep down a sadness remains, 'cause I wish I lived in a marginal seat. Then I could discuss education. I wish I lived in a marginal seat, where my preference affected the nation. But as it is, I'm a bystander watching the voters of Frankston smugly expressing their views, while I'm left to choose if I'll be drawing a penis or a vagina. That is the biggest decision I face. And how many cocks will I draw in my box? If I draw a box, will I have enough space? Should I colour it in? Will I run out of time? Should I draw my Senate cocks under the line? Will I draw my pussy in pencil or pen? If I cock up my dick, can I draw it again? One day I'll move to a marginal seat. Then finally I will have power. I can vote for the parties instead of ignoring them. Number the dicks instead of just drawing them. Bring us Australia closer to thee. We draw genitalia 'cause we long to be there, safe in a marginal seat. Thank you, Wheeler Centre. Thank you so much. And in one 2-minute song, I just managed to bring down the tone of this fine establishment forevermore. Thank you so much for joining me for the first in this series of shows. I should give you some background. This is the first of some events to happen this year. The idea for this show came to me a few months ago. I was up in my favourite town of Canberra, and I just bought a pair of KT26s from Big W for $30, and I was testing them out, running around Lake Burley Griffin. And as I was running, I felt the voices of former Prime Ministers wafting up off the lake, coming into my head, every single one of them. Barton, Deakin, Watson, Reid, Fisher, Cook, Hughes, Bruce, Scuddon, Lyons, Page, Menzies, Fadden, Curtin, Ford, Chifley, Holt, McEwen, Gordon, McMahon, Whitlam, Fraser, Hawke, Keating, Howard, Rudd, Gillard, Abbott, Turnbull, every one of them. And they were coming up and they were saying, Sammy J. They were saying, Sammy J, there's something missing in our democracy. There's something missing. And I said, what is it? What is it, former Prime Ministers? And they said, we have so many shock jocks, we have so many journalists, we have so many people offering their views, people writing articles all over the place, but we're really missing something. We're missing skinny, blonde musical comedians having lightweight, ineffectual conversations with our leaders. And I thought, that's my market share right there. And so this show was born. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Sammy J, do you have the requisite skills and knowledge to interview these preeminent... No, I don't. I've never done an interview in my life. But I've got a microphone and you don't, so deal with it. If you've got a problem with that, you should have done what I did, which is break into the Wheeler Centre overnight, write your name on the whiteboard and hope like fuck they don't notice it. So here we are. I do think, though, that I have had some experience, because comedy is a lot like politics. You know, I know that I won't be able to please you all today. I'm just aiming for 51% of you. My jokes are my policies, and you guys are the voters, and along the way, your laughter will serve as an ongoing series of opinion polls. Now, I will, of course, claim to pay no attention to these polls, but if I'm met with deafening silence for more than 3 minutes, you'll notice a small bead of sweat appearing on my left temple, and then I'll start to release a broad range of populist policies, such as poo jokes or an overuse of the word fuck in order to please the masses. Now, this will risk alienating my core voter base, who will argue that I've sold out my comedic principles, but I'll respond that the compromises were necessary in light of low laughter rates across the electorate, and that a broad range of populist policies were essential in order to get the comedy economy back on track. So here we are. A few months ago, wrote some emails, invited all sorts of people all over the nation. Didn't matter which side of politics they were from, state, federal, I didn't care. I just sent out these emails, and some of them had never heard of me and they said no, and some of them had heard of me and they said no. And one particular ex-Prime Minister wrote the most creative, foul-mouthed response saying why he wouldn't be attending. I won't say who. Let's just say he followed Bob Hawke and preceded John Howard, if you know what I mean. But The first person to say yes 3 months ago was a little-known independent MP by the name of Geoff Shaw. And despite the week that he's had, to his great credit, he actually still turned up today. So please welcome to the stage independent member for Frankston, Geoff Shaw.
Thanks. I won't be doing that.
How are you, Jeffy?
How are you,
Come on in.
Good, thanks, mate.
Have a seat, baby. Come on.
Thank you.
You can hold on to that one. Have a seat.
That's lovely. And Phil Collins playing as well.
Indeed, I've done my research. I know you're a Phil Collins fan. You don't mind if the Premier joins us?
Excellent.
Yes, okay, good. He just wants to watch over you.
There's no signature.
Okay. Just read the newspaper. Oh, that's for you. If you want some light reading.
Is that the better paper?
I think it is. It's the best one in the world. I'll just give you that one. And okay, here we go, Geoff. Come on.
Go. Oh, well done.
Here we go. I know you're a footballer, but I can't fucking play football. Oh dear, he fumbled. There we go. Okay, go long. Go long.
Here we go. Oh, that's too far.
Oh, shit.
Well done. Good.
Geoff Shaw, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sammy. Thanks.
Good man. I'll pop this in the box. Woo. Thanks, Aaron. Oh,
Put that like that.
should have thought through the starting with a physical. So, pretty quiet week for you then?
It's somewhat.
Yep.
Just a couple of Frankston guys having a chat.
Yes, it dressed quite similarly. We noticed.
Similar, yeah.
I got to confess early on. I know I said in the emails that I'm from Frankston. I'm sort of from Mount Eliza.
Yeah, it's totally. No. It's a bit different.
That's why I'm wearing a tie and you're not. You see, No, I grew up on Humphreys Road, right on the border, so I was very snobby about the type of heroin that I used. You know,
right.
It was.
Okay.
No. Do you mind if Dennis is there? Is that okay?
He can be there.
One of my objectives today is to get you to call him on the phone.
Right.
Do you have your phone on you?
I don't think he'd answer it. But yes, I do.
Oh, well, we could no harm in trying.
Oh, I'm not.
Is it on you out of interest? Or?
No, it's not. It's at the back.
Well, we can get it.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see how it goes.
We could pretend that I've got the phone. You know, I've gone through your stuff, and then I could just call him, and then you're absolved.
That'd be interesting. I don't know how interesting that conversation would be, actually.
Well, I'd just like to hear how he answers the phone. I just realised my solution just then of me going and getting the phone was to try and stop the Premier being annoyed by you. I think that train has left the station.
We did something to stop me annoying him.
Yeah,
for a little while. Just for a little
while. Well, thank you so much for joining me. You've just been dealt the biggest punishment of any Victorian parliamentary member in over 100 years. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Were you suspended at school, ever?
I was never suspended, no. I had a couple of Saturday detentions at John Paul College, 2 of them.
Nice.
And
what for?
One for climbing on the roof to get a tennis ball down.
Oh.
And the other one was throwing a tennis ball in a cricket cover, if you like. And some friends in Year 7 said, "Hey, Geoff, I reckon you can get it through that window." If anyone's been to Frankston, Stella Maris it was at the time, an old convent, and I said, yeah, I reckon I could too. So I was pretty cocky back then, and had a throw, and it smashed the window. So
gosh.
A Saturday detention for that, 2 Saturdays.
Had I known that, I would not have started this with a ball game. Because suspension is... I was never suspended either. I got some detentions, but the rules at school for us were... You know, if you had porn on your laptop, you were given a detention. If you were the guy distributing the porn, you were suspended. And if you were making the porn, you were expelled. That was the
And that was all at Peninsula, was it?
That was Peninsula School, yes.
Right.
I'm proud. It was co-educational by this point. Look, so you seem at all times like, I wouldn't say a chilled guy, but like sort of things bounce off you. Has this week been one of the shitter ones for you?
Probably at Parliament, yes, it would have been. Mm-hmm. But not throughout the week. Today I walked through Frankston. It was fantastic. I couldn't get out of Coles for probably 45 minutes. It was terrific.
Their service is terrible, I agree.
It's very slow service. Very slow service.
I thought we'd start with a biography, because most people here probably don't know anything about you. And but before we do, I have got a little... Because I know that... I was sort of hoping that you would be expelled this week, and that's not nothing personal, but then you wouldn't be a politician anymore. But you're still a politician, so I'm worried you're going to give me politician answers, you know?
I don't know if I didn't go into politics to be a politician. I went to get results. So say whatever you want to say.
Okay, thank you. I shall. And
yeah.
But if you feel uncomfortable at any point,
I can say what I want to say back.
Of course you can.
Great.
That's the whole point. But I've got the Chicken of Silence here. It's an ironic title because it's very loud. But if you feel uncomfortable at any point, rather than us getting into too much of an argy-bargy, you're welcome just to pick it up and...
Lovely. I probably won't.
Okay, we'll give it a test. Say some nice things about former Speaker Ken Smith.
Ken Smith? Do I let this go now if I want to speak about him?
Well, it's up to you.
No, I'll speak about him.
Nice things, I said. That's the rule, though.
Nice things?
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Okay. There we go. Okay, can we have some mood music, please, Oren?
That doesn't sound like Phil Collins.
His latest stuff is shit, I agree. Okay. Geoffrey Page Shaw was born in...
October.
You're 9 months old.
1967.
Correct. 1 point.
Oh, sorry, is this question answer time?
It is, and you're doing well.
Well, I'll answer it factually, not like they do in question time in Parliament. So I'll be direct.
You'd go, exactly, brevity.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's great.
Thank you so much.
That's all right.
I'm going to give you 2 points for the brevity.
Thank you. What's it out of?
I'll be the judge of that.
Okay,
Know your place.
Terrific.
He grew up. True or false?
Some people might argue.
Okay, I'll leave that as a dot. As a child in Frankston, he earned an honest living by delivering...
Well, I delivered what was called the Sun back then and the Herald.
Newspapers.
And the Age, yes, I did.
What was your route around Frankston?
It was around my house, actually. That was East Frankston.
East Frankston, okay. I used to do a newspaper run for about a week, and I'm such a skinny bastard. My mum would just drive me to each house. I would drop it and just drive.
That's very lazy of you. That's very Peninsula Boys' School.
Oh, like I said, co-educational. When I arrived, it was a female school. Attending John Paul College, Geoff Shaw failed to complete his VCE as it didn't exist at the time. He did, however, finish his HSC.
Yes.
And went on to complete a Bachelor of...
Business.
Correct. Lucky for some. There followed a reasonably dull 2 decades, which no one here cares about, culminating in the 2010 election where he was pre-selected by the Liberal Party and was elected to Parliament with a swing of...
Oh, I can't remember. Was it 5 or 6%? 5 or 6%?
4.42%, but it's good. Still good.
A win's a win.
A win is a win. And don't they
Every
know
vote counts.
Well, in February 2011, having got those votes, Geoff made his maiden speech to Parliament and controversially acknowledged...
God.
I got Graham Kennedy, actually.
He was in there, yes.
Former
Graham Kennedy. He was
resident.
acknowledged. Yes, he was. Yes.
A lighter moment came in 2012 when he was accused of simulating masturbation in Parliament, but denied using the word wanker, claiming he had said...
Whacker. It was amazing. Can I share that story just
Please
a sec?
do. Because you know everyone here thinks that is bullshit.
Well, it's actually not. If you spoke to the person next to me, who was a member for Burwood, and who was 2 from me, and it was strange. You had these Labor women on the other side, 3 Labor women, who they can't hear at the best of times anyway, but somehow they heard my word. They thought I said that word. Are they here? Are they here?
Well, I think people interpreted your comment that women can't hear at the best of times as a sexist thing.
Sorry,
which
what was
perhaps
that?
wasn't.
No, these ones couldn't.
They couldn't.
At the best of times, because they're normally talking. So it was quite amazing. They wanted to get on the news. They said I said this, and that's the way it went. So
that was that.
I'm denying it, and I'd be honest enough to say if I said it.
So you said whacker?
I did.
Do you say whacker? Who says whacker?
Well, there'd be a few people, I think. Yeah. I do.
Do you actually do? Okay.
Yeah,
and I'm not taking the piss, and I'm not for the next hour. I'm not genuinely not taking the piss. I'm just curious because I saw that and thought, you can't admit to saying wanker.
We're a different generation, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fair point.
Yeah.
What are you like?
Big fan?
I'm just working out your age. I'm 43. What are you?
Well, you were born in 67. You do the maths.
That's true. You're right. Wanker was. In March last year, Geoff quit the Parliamentary Labor Party, leading to the resignation of...
Well, I quit the Liberal Party, actually.
When did you quit the Labor Party, though?
Beg your pardon?
When did you quit the Labor Party?
I was a student member. I thought
yes,
he was.
I was
a student member.
Did you quit? Or did you lapse?
No. I can't remember. It was back in the early 90s. That was like 92 or something like
early
that.
Early 90s doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. You quit the Liberal Party, of course, leading to the resignation of...
Ted Bailey.
Yeah, I just want to hear you say it. You brought down a premier.
Beg your pardon?
You brought down a premier. It's a big thing.
Well, he resigned.
He resigned?
He resigned.
Your hands
He's a big enough boy.
He is a big boy?
He's a big boy.
And
he
you
can
made
make
him
his
cry
own
like a
decisions.
baby. But undoubtedly, his most dramatic day came just 48 hours ago when he was...
Well, I was screwed by the Parliament, wasn't I?
That's perfectly... I would have taken totally fucked over or whatever you... Screwed by the Parliament. That's the name of your memoir. Undoubtedly, however, when all is said and done, his career highlight was sitting on stage with...
Well, Sammy J.
Yes, it was. Welcome to the party, Geoff Shaw.
Well done. Thanks.
Opening song, check. Flirtatious banter, check. Okay, question time. Now, I'm going to be honest, I only wrote these an hour ago. I didn't think you were going to turn up, so I'm fucked.
Yeah, okay.
So bear with me.
Just be on the fly.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay. Did you have a plan in place when you entered politics? And if so, what went wrong?
Well, I don't know what went wrong. I don't write my story. The papers write the stories. But I came into politics I've lived in Frankston since I was 7, so I wanted to make Frankston a better place, and that's why I entered I thought I could use my business knowledge and business background, bring it into politics. And
was it... You only joined the Liberal Party quite close to when you ran. Was it like... Did they come to you? That often happens.
No.
They need someone and they come and find you.
No.
So you stuck your neck out.
Correct.
And what made you do that after... Like, you can say you want to make a difference, but was there actually something happened that you were like...
No. Just wanted to make a difference and thought I could use my skills in that arena.
And was there a specific issue that you thought, this is why I'm doing it? Like, if I was going to politics, I just want to ban sport, for example.
You'd ban sport?
I'm a nerd. It's nothing personal, but I
Peninsula,
like sport.
you would have been forced to play sport, wouldn't you?
No, I was forced to be bashed because I didn't play sport. I became very well acquainted with the toilet bowl. But, like, did you have a specific couple of things you were like...
Yeah, I did, yeah. Yeah, well, one was I didn't come in to just hang around and say nothing.
Yep.
So it was to have a voice.
You've achieved that particular goal.
And to have a voice for Frankston as well. Frankston was, I thought, neglected. Could have been a lot better things could have happened in that city. So that's why. And the other issue was, I'm pro-life, and I believe that every child in Australia that's got a heartbeat shouldn't be killed. And the 2008 election, there was some horrendous abortion laws that were put through, and I didn't like that, so I put my hand up and said, that they were my issues.
Mm-hmm. But always have some hecklers.
Oh, great. Bring them on.
It won't surprise you to know that I'm come from the completely other end of that argument, you know. But one of the biggest questions I have and that other people have is why you didn't mention abortion in your maiden speech to Parliament.
Well, I mentioned a few things in my maiden speech. So
Graham Kennedy amongst them.
Yeah. It was a 15-minute speech, and you can't fit everything you want to fit in there.
But these days, when you're literally your catch cry is, I'm sticking up for Frankston and unborn babies. Like it's your thing.
Yeah.
But you didn't mention it in 15 minutes, which and I wonder why.
Well, I think my opening sentence could have sent a bit of a message.
Which was?
My opening first paragraph was to acknowledge, as you said from the start, acknowledge God the Creator. Did
you know that was going to make headlines?
No, I didn't think so.
You didn't think it would make headlines?
Well, I didn't think state politics was that interesting beforehand. It was all federal issues. Had Rudd and Gillard around that time, and so the federal issues were dominating rather than state issues. So no, I didn't think so.
Were you hoping it would make headlines?
I wasn't even thinking about headlines or anything at that time.
It was just your honest...
Yeah, just put it out there. That's the maiden speeches. We said, you want to do a bit of history about Frankston, a bit of history about yourself. So I went down those angles.
I think the main, personally, and I'm a dick, so I wouldn't know, but I think the main reason people got upset about it or are upset because not to do with your faith, which people can have a faith, that's the whole point, and that's perfectly fine, or even their views, but it actually felt like you were taking the piss out of Indigenous Australians. That's why a lot of people get upset. Do you regret that interpretation has been put on it?
I think the way that people accept what's being said, that's up to them. That meaning wasn't meant there at all.
can you understand why people would feel that way?
I haven't had any one into the office stating anything with regards to that. So
Can't get through the media, though, at your office. It's a large scrum outside.
they do get through.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back to someone else who got through to your office at one point. I do just want to talk about that moment that you resigned from the Liberal Party. I've got a little audio grab, if I may. Ooh, thrilling.
I resigned for a specific reason. I thought we were a good government with good policies, but the leadership was sort of lacking, I thought. And come the polls were telling us we were going to lose. And so I didn't think that was any good. So thought, I'll get out, be an independent and do what I can for Frankston if we're only going to be a one-term government.
What I love about that quote is that you went so far off the script that you were meant to say. You were meant to say, I don't pay attention to the polls, I support the Premier and we will win the next election. But you were like, fuck you, I'm out of here. I'm gone.
Not under Ted.
No.
They wouldn't have won under Ted.
They wouldn't have?
No.
Do you remember the first moment you saw Ted after that day?
Ted was quite a distant sort of fellow anyway. He wasn't very forthcoming with his backbenchers, so I don't remember the exact time. I think it was Barry Michael, who's a world champion boxer, came into Parliament, and I was with him. And we sort of just bumped into Ted in the front door, and I said, "Oh, Ted," and slowly turned around and saw Barry and mumbled, and then sort of walked off. But I thought if he would have accepted a world champion like Barry, but not so much.
What would you have said to him had he seen you? Were you trying to?
No, just introducing to. Yeah, we were just bumped into each other. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
In retrospect, Ted Baillieu, on my reading, treated you a lot better than old Buggerlugs here. Do you regret that decision at any?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
No. These leaders are pretenders, really. They perform for the media, and that's how they operate.
Mm-hmm. Fair dues. Fair dues. May I ask you to rank in order of your loyalty? Victoria, Frankston, and the Liberal Party. What comes first?
Well, I'm elected to Frankston. That's my home, so I think you're loyal to your home first. So loyal to where I live.
Frankston
where
first.
I'm elected. Frankston first. Victoria next, and parties can... Or rather people than parties.
Okay. So I'll take it Liberal Party comes third in that equation.
If they had to be ranked,
yep.
Yes.
Someone doesn't like Frankston being first. Bullshit. Broadmeadows all the way. Because I don't... You're very proud. You're very proud. You're very proud. Yes, please, Geoff.
I'll get you one too. Yeah. I'll get you one.
You're very proud.
I was going to offer.
Thank you. You're very proud Frankstonian, but you are you a proud Victorian?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I'm proud to be an Australian.
Because a lot of
I'm proud to be Australian.
Yes. Because a lot of the commentary is sort of that that you've been holding the state to ransom and so on. And
they're sideline commentators. They don't know what's going on. They've got to write a report, and they struggle.
Well, let's get to the nuts and bolts of where the state got a bit in the way of Frankston, and that's the issue of the old rorty-warty. I was nervous about bringing this up because I didn't know how to approach it, but then I found the most fabulous interview that you did with a gentleman on Channel 31 on a little watch show called Dollars and Cents. Old Dallas.
Dallas.
Is he a friend of yours?
He's a friend of mine.
Well, he's a lovely guy, but as to his questioning, just in one instance, I thought it was... well, I'll just show you what he said, but he was trying to, in my view, butter you up before moving in for the kill, and I don't think he necessarily landed the knockout punch he wanted to. Have a listen.
So you've got your family, you've got 4 children.
I have, yes.
And you go to the local church.
I do.
And you play the bagpipes.
I do play the bagpipes.
So you're a bagpipe-playing politician who plays footy who goes to church.
That's a reasonable summary.
What happened with that? What's that? What was happening with the car and that? Where's that?
Now, what I love is...
How come you're not playing the answer? Did I answer it?
Oh, no, you did a great answer.
Oh, good.
No, I'm not cutting that out. We're about to discuss it at length. Don't you worry, you'll have your chance. But I just love that not only was he sort of blundering towards it, he hadn't even done his research. Like, I know what happened with the car. I've read the Ombudsman report. I've read the the original Privileges Committee report, and then it was suspended pending the police investigation, which was dropped, and then I read the final Privileges Committee report from May this year, which effectively cleared you of willfully misusing your entitlements. And then I stabbed myself in the eye with a blunt screwdriver, which was more enjoyable. But I am a stickler for the rules, Geoff, and on those rules, you did not commit an offence.
Well done. Well done. Maybe you should write for the Herald Sun and the Age. That would be good.
I do. They don't publish it. But my question is, I read it all. I read your submission. Your submission was quite heartfelt and all about stuff that wasn't able to be included and everything. Speaking broadly, despite the fact that on a technicality you got through, and full credit, there was still like a whiff of rort. You know, there was like just a rorty sort of vibe. And my question to you, Geoff, is I'm not asking you to admit to being a rorter, far from it. I'm asking you to, are you willing to admit that you're a 12% rorter?
12%? I don't know.
Before you answer,
what percentage I'd put on myself.
Because I'm willing to I'll match you. I'm a 100% rorter.
Okay.
I'm going to a friend's wedding in Ireland in August, and I'm stopping at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival to do one night show so I can claim the whole trip on tax.
Well done.
That is 100% rort.
That would have to be the predominant purpose, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's not though. You're an accountant. I'm a dirty mongrel.
Right.
So,
well, there's rules in place, isn't there? There's rules in place. I mean, at school we had out of bounds. You went over the boundary. You got in trouble. And sometimes you go up to the boundaries. And sometimes people don't like that and they want to extend the boundaries or close the boundaries further and say, look, all of a sudden you're out of bounds. Well, that's not the way it was. You said it right from the start. There was enough investigations. They found nothing willful. They found nothing criminal. And Napthine didn't like that decision of the police, of the courts. He didn't like the Ombudsman's report. He didn't even like what the 9-member committee said on the privileges and decided, no, I think this is a sentence, this is good. I'll silence him for a little while. How about we have a vote? And that's how it went.
I'll give you 7% rort. How about 7%?
Oh, yeah, well, okay, let's go 7.
No.
But look, from the start I said, look, whatever happens, being a businessman in the past and still have those thoughts now, you take 100% responsibility for your employees' actions or things that you have control of. You do take responsibility. I've said that from the start. But when you go through investigation after investigation and they say no, and then Napthine decides, well, I don't quite like that you said last week that I was going to vote no confidence in him, and then suspended the next week. I think that's a rort itself.
We appear to have reached an impasse then because he wants you to apologise. But
a public apology? I don't know what that means. Can I apologise to all Victorians in Parliament right now?
He just did it.
First year on Sammy J. First year on Sammy J.
Oh, don't bring me into it.
I don't know if that's good enough.
First of all, let's go through what he said. Just today he said Shaw needed to have a good look in the mirror and change his ways. So I went to Kmart.
You got a mirror? Did you get a mirror? Excellent.
There we go.
A pink as well, matches the shirt.
Now,
how are we looking?
So what can you see, Geoff?
I can see you, mate. I can see you.
Yeah, I'm going to hide then.
I can see a few extra grey hairs than I would have preferred on my beard, and a bit of thinning up top as well.
And that's it.
That's pretty.
Okay. Well, okay. So Dennis's first suggestion doesn't work. His next suggestion, he wants you to apologise earlier than when Parliament resumes, when your suspension is over. A general apology.
Did I just apologise then?
Did he? Is that actually your apology? Was that it?
I apologise, didn't I? Is that it?
Oh,
I'm getting no's. I'm getting no's.
His next sentence. No, because he said he should show his remorse, apologise, and genuinely be apologetic and remorseful.
Wow.
That's the problem. We got a problem. So, here we go. Once more.
No, this guy here, he did the sentence and then he wants me to say how I have to do the sentence. It's quite...
But he's the Premier.
It's quite interesting. Oh.
So, because they're saying you're going to be expelled if you don't meet these conditions. Are you going to meet the conditions?
Well, I actually don't know all of the conditions. I think there's about a dozen or so. So I thought I just completed one of them right now.
Well, do we believe it was sincere?
Oh. Should we have hands up for yes?
Hands up for yes?
Four people,
okay.
Right? Let's have a look at the nose.
Great.
Let's have a look at the nose.
Come on. No,
Come on.
All I want to do, Geoff, let's make 51% of people here believe you apologise and then Napthine will take it. Okay, let's try once more. And let's do it puppy eyes. Do like Disney eyes.
Are we going to do an apology? Is that what's going to do?
Yeah.
To the people of Victoria, I'm exceptionally sorry. And I apologise to Parliament. and to you, good people of Victoria.
Hands up who believed that.
Oh, come on, there's got to be more.
There is the problem that you wouldn't even give me 2% rort, so it's difficult to... Not even like a tribute to rort, just a cheeky wink towards rort. Nothing. So it's going to be true. I know your conditions, by the way. You don't know them, but I do. You're not allowed to travel on parliamentary expenses from now on. Are you still planning to go overseas soon?
Well, I can go wherever I want. As anyone else, free in Australia, can go wherever they like. And it doesn't matter what the Premier says. I can travel wherever I want.
That's so like what the suspended kid says about the principal.
Yeah. But you can. I can travel, they haven't had my passport taken away.
No.
I can travel wherever I want.
I've got someone taking it from your bag right now.
Damn.
You can, but it's going to be a financial blow?
If I choose to go on holidays, it's always at my cost.
This is fascinating because I don't feel, and you're answering me wonderfully honestly, so thank you, but I don't think anyone here necessarily knows what's going to happen now in a couple of months' time, whether you're going to be expelled or whether you're being cheeky and then the day before on the deadline, then you'll do a mea culpa.
Well, I'm not sure. It's only happened a few days ago. So
that's true. Fair enough. Need some time to
just sort of have sit back and dwell on.
I just realised I had a moment.
I've apologised twice tonight, and you guys still want more apologies.
It is Friday night drinks after all. I shouldn't go so hard because big week and all that. Homosexuality. We should move on to this. This is one of the prickly issues, and I would like to address it because it's something that you're known for. Everyone knows. I'm going to assume the email that you sent to Jacob, a constituent who wrote to you a couple of years ago to discuss the government's changes to anti-discrimination legislation. You wrote back, and in part of your email you said, what if there was the man said he wished to love freely in the course of his life, and you said, what if there was a convicted sex offender who stated that, or a child molester, can they still do what they want? Jacob went to the media, it blew up. Lesser known than that email is the one you wrote the next morning. You said, good morning, Jacob. I read with concern the reporting in the media about our correspondence. I'm sure you understand that it was not my intention to convey the impressions that were portrayed in the media. I apologise and regret any offence caused. The article does not reflect my views. Which I read that and I breathed a certain sigh of relief. But I haven't actually been able to find anything where you actually explicitly do clarify those views. So, and to be utterly blunt as I will be this entire conversation, there is a view out there that you are, generally speaking, anti-gay. There is always the murmurs and whispers that your church is associated with the Westboro Baptist Church, who run the God Hates Fags campaign in America, and there is hence basically a conclusion in a lot of people's minds that Geoff Shaw hates fags. Is that true?
Well, no, it's not true.
That's a good thing. It's a good start, isn't it? That's nice to hear. Do you think God hates fags?
No, I don't. I don't think God hates gays, but he hates sin, and that's anyone who's been to.
Do you think homosexuality is a sin?
Well, it's not a matter of what I think. God says that drunkenness is a sin. He says that lying's a sin. He says adultery's a sin. So he does.
People are laughing. People are giggling.
They're not laughing at me. They laugh at God.
It's totally sweet. I don't agree with a lot of things, or most things, in fact, but we can still hear you out and we can still discuss it. I find it the idea of being a Christian to me in this day and age. I'm married to a Christian, but she would run scared if she was put in the same Christian camp as you. She's on the other end of the spectrum. Thank you. 3 claps for my wife. I feel like the word Christian has lost so much meaning now because in itself it doesn't mean anything. Are you comfortable being called a fundamentalist Christian?
I don't put my label. I call myself a Christian.
Yep. But when as every day it happens, you're called a fundamentalist Christian.
There's a lot of things they call me and I don't necessarily like, so I don't necessarily agree with either.
You went to a Catholic school?
I did, yeah.
And were you Catholic at the time?
Yes.
You're not Catholic now?
No.
What happened between now and then?
Well, when I was 25, I was playing footy and water skiing and karate, a few things. And
sounds like a horrible weekend.
Yeah, because you're right into sports.
Yeah.
And look, there was one. I wasn't going to church at the time at 25, and there was this ad in the paper, and I decided to go with someone. at the time, and the ad said miracle healings performed. I thought, great, I'll just go along. We're not doing anything on this particular Friday night or whatever it was. And went to this small church, a lot smaller than, it fitted about 30 people in it. And I thought, this is quite a strange church from the Catholic Church. And probably learnt more in that one session than I did 20 years as a Catholic. And look, my knee was sore. I saw these people get healed and going, what's going on here? I didn't understand what's going on. And they said at the end, look, anyone wants to be prayed for at the end, come up and get prayed, and see what happens. So I did, prayed for my knee. They said go for a run the next day. I went for a run the next day and I was healed. So from there, I basically decided that there was some truth in that, and continued from there.
And you said that your faith comes first. I don't know whether people coughing and saying bullshit and what a wanker is. That's not really why I wanted to do this. It's called a Democratic Party. I'm interested in a discussion, and I'm allowed to hate everything or some things that you're saying. But people coughing and saying bullshit is not the sort of environment I was hoping to create. Sammy J, slam down. You've said that your faith comes first and then your politics second, which a lot of...
Politics wouldn't even come second.
Politics will never come second.
You've got family, you've got friends.
Oh, wow, politics is just the
it is, yeah.
Right at the bottom.
Yeah.
Kevin Rudd would disagree, wouldn't he?
Well, that's up to them. If you want to sell your soul to politics or to work, and people do, my priorities were all over the place. In business, I had business first, and family wasn't first. And, I think when you change your priorities around, life can be pretty good.
So let's talk about those reasons you said you got into politics and the course that you've taken. Do you think that's the best course you could have taken to achieve those results, given where you are today, in the naughty corner?
Well, I wouldn't be on stage right now, would I? With,
wasting your time with...
No, I don't know what I would change, make different. I try to be upfront with people, and so people know where I am. So a couple of reasons for that is I think it's good that people know where I am upfront, and they can either like that or not like that. They can either accept it, reject it, and that's where it is. I don't tend to shy away too much.
But you often have claimed that you're misrepresented by the media, and yet you get so much media, and on so many levels, you're better known for your views than any other politician.
Yeah.
How does those two coexist?
It's good that my views are out there, and there's been conversations out in public. The personal attacks I don't like, but that's seems to be part of the course.
Are you going to run again in November?
Well, that's my intent, Sammy.
Oh, that's a politician's answer, isn't it?
Well, that's my intent. So we'll see what happens. At the moment, there's good support in Frankston, so we'll see what the story is.
But you're leaving the option open?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm definitely am or definitely not.
And will the polls, as you previously said, if they scare you, will you be like, well, I'm not going to go in for a flogging? If you think you're
I'm not going to go into a known loss.
So if the polls look like the Shaw's just no chance, you won't bother?
That would be my thinking at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Everyone who doesn't like you now is going to try and rig the polls.
Maybe.
Let's say you do run. You'll be running as an independent against the might of the other parties, the same might that you used to get in last time and crush the independents. So you'll be feeling crushed by them. And if you are crushed and if you don't quite make it, at that point, when you have a go and you lose, hypothetically, at that point, will you have any regrets about the course you've taken?
No, I think if I win, I win. If I lose, I win. There's life after politics. Life goes on. And if it's not the highest priority of mine, so whatever happens, happens.
The things you could have changed, the things you want to change for Frankston and your pro-life stances, you'll be like, okay, well, I had a crack and I'm out of here?
Well, that would be the case, yeah.
Would you keep campaigning privately as a citizen?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think you should be silent on issues that you're passionate about.
Isn't there an argument that you could have... Politics is power. You have to have the power to be able to make a difference. So in the course you've charted, hypothetically, let's say you'd kept mum about your abortion views the way you did in your maiden speech and just never brought it up, it happened to be your private hobby horse that you talked about at home, you would then have a potentially greater chance of being re-elected and then hence a greater chance of doing the things Frankston, you compromise. Mm-hmm. Do you accept that argument?
Yeah, sure. There's lots of compromises in politics and in life. Certain things that people compromise on, and I'm sure there's people out here that compromise. You would compromise, I do, but there's other things that you don't compromise on.
So no regrets about not making any compromises in Parliament?
I've made a few compromises in.
No regrets about not making more?
You'd have to be a bit more specific.
Well, I'm wondering what you could have done to avoid the shitstorm that happened this week.
I probably shouldn't have done that ABC interview on the Tuesday before.
You regret that?
I don't know if I regret it, but I didn't expect what came after.
You threatened to bring down the government, and you didn't expect what came after.
What I actually said. You probably got a tape, so I don't know. I said I wouldn't have would show a vote of no confidence. But if you listen to the interview later on, I also said that I wouldn't be putting in Labor either. So it's really, when you have, can I just share, if people back for football, you don't because you're not a sportsman, Sammy, but if your football team's going bad, you may lose confidence in them, but it doesn't mean you don't barrack for them. You don't want the other team to win. You just say, I've got no confidence, mate, lift your game. That was the message to our Premier here, was to say, lift your game, and then my confidence comes, because that's how it works. That's how it works.
I loved your response when Raf said, that would bring down the government, and I think, was it life goes on, you said?
Yeah, I did.
That's where that sort of question about Victorian pride comes in, because it's like, that's the whole state changing, but a certain Frankston-based focus that you have.
Well, I think, look, I was echoing probably what 50% of the people of Victoria think anyway, and maybe 50% of the people in here have no confidence in the Premier or the government, and so I wasn't echoing much different than half the population.
I love that a lot of people who hate you would have loved you if you got rid of the Liberals.
Very interesting, isn't it?
It's a quandary, isn't it, Geoff?
It is. It is. Anyway, if people get their priorities in order, though, they won't be so fickle, I would think.
Yes. Wednesday night, you were holed up in your office. You didn't turn up for the vote, for your own vote.
No.
You were watching yourself on The Office as every one of your colleagues lined up just to cut sick on you.
Yeah.
Not a nice feeling, I imagine.
No, I didn't go in the chamber all day, and I didn't vote because I thought I'll take the view as if they want me out, I wouldn't want it to come in, Shaw only saved himself. So I was really leaving open to the parliamentarians to say what they wanted to say without me maybe utilising my vote to save myself.
Were you channel surfing along the way? Because it's
boring.
No,
I actually wasn't watching it in my office. I was office bound, but I wasn't watching it in my office. And those who have been up into my office will know that I don't even have the speaker on most of the time.
Do you have much of a sense of your place in history, given that I love this stuff, I love politics, I love the theatre of it. I love that in 100 years when someone's misusing their hovercraft, they're going to be talking about you as the last guy to be compared. Because 100 years ago it was Finlay who bagged the king, and every 100 years something's going to happen, and you're going to be part of the narrative of this state.
I won't be here, will I?
You'll be dead, Geoff.
I will be dead, yes. I will be.
So will I, if it's any consolation. We'll all be dead. Thank you, good night. But you're like, as a result of this week in particular, you've just earned yourself a place in history, for better or worse. Does that weigh on your mind or not at all? You just sort of...
No, look, I was in the office today. I was in a bit of the day before on Thursday, but I haven't really dwelled. I don't read the media much at all. My staff do, and they sort of give me some briefs on it. So I haven't really had too much time to think about it. So I want to take the weekend off and just sort of talk to you and then relax.
And then relax, my God.
Then relax.
This hasn't been stressful, has it?
No, it hasn't.
Oh, damn.
Not
okay,
at all.
Let's get to the next question.
Yeah, better pick it up.
Okay, here we go. Look, we are coming into the home stretch, but you have one of your big Frankston campaigns has been getting a statue built for former boxing champion, Jimmy Famageon.
Oh, there you go, Johnny Famageon.
Pardon me. I think that any money spent on a sporting statue is a waste of... is the biggest fraud of all. So, but when the people of Frankston decide in their wisdom to build you a statue, where would you like it to be placed?
Wow. Wow, that's interesting. First of all, I wouldn't, be thinking myself and Johnny Famerton would have the same statue built. So I wouldn't want a statue built.
Wasn't the question?
But yes, it wasn't. If one was to be built, where would I like it? I'd want to be facing the bay.
Facing the bay?
I would.
Not the creek?
Not the creek, facing the bay.
Okay. You cleaned up the creek, though, apparently, so shouldn't you be proud of the creek?
Well...
you didn't really clean it up. You just said that in the press
Kananook
release.
Creek's pretty dirty. It's still pretty dirty.
Okay. The final words of Geoff Shaw. Kananook Creek, still pretty dirty. I'm not running for election.
That's right. It's a long creek.
Yeah, it's a long creek. I thought you were going to say La Porquettes, maybe. Outside La Porquettes or the taxi rank. I'm not sure.
Oh, they love me. Frankston taxis love me.
Sorry?
The Frankston taxis love me.
They do love you.
They do.
You did some good things for them. That's
exactly right.
You did. I did my research.
Wasn't that not in your...
Sorry?
Was that not in your summary there?
The things you did. I can tell you what you did. You've increased money for Frankston Hospital.
Yeah.
You've protected Frankston Reservoir.
Yep.
You have cleaned up the foreshore and Kananook Creek.
Yep.
You've helped out a huge amount of money to schools, Frankston High School in particular.
Mount Erin.
Mount Erin Secondary College. I visited Mount Erin. Yeah. But this is the crux of it. This comes up to what I said, that despite all that, there are people of my ilk, people I know in the electorate, who despite all of that, even if you turned Frankston into the capital city of Australia magically, because of your abortion views and your homosexuality views, and they're the two big things that sort of pop out there, that they or we or I wouldn't vote for you just because of that. And that comes back to my question of compromise. Is that something you're comfortable with?
Well, people will vote for you. You know, it was crazy. I grew the beard over summer, and that became a talking point where I had people say, "I'll get rid of the beard, Geoff, and I'll vote for you," or "Keep it, Geoff, and I'll vote for you." It's crazy. I did it for Shave for a Cure. I had one person contact me and said, "Hey, Geoff, I'll pay you to leave it on." So you can't please all people all the time, and these certain things in my and I'm not just chasing votes, and so those certain things aren't compromised.
No, but obviously, beards and abortion fairly different
yeah,
scales.
Sure. But that's...
that's...
Well, we live in a free country, isn't that good? We don't live in a commo country or anything like that. So it's good. We can all have free views.
It is true, I think, that we don't live in a commo country.
That's very good.
It's a fair point, I'm not going to dispute that. Unless something's happened as we've been in here, we all get out and the Reds have escaped from under the bed. Can we have some mood music, please? Because we are coming towards the end of our time together, Geoff. Will we ever be on stage together again? I
don't know, Sammy. Would you invite me back? You've got a few politicians to go through yet, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got Lindsay Tanner next. Would you like me to pass a message on to him?
No, I don't. No, not really. No. Just say hi.
Just say hi. Do you know Lindsay?
No, not at all.
Oh, I'll hook you up. Following his hilarious and fun-filled chat with Sammy J, Geoff Shaw walked off stage and said to himself,
"I'm sorry, Victoria."
At the 2014 Victorian election, Geoff Shaw finished...
He finished happy.
Sadly, Geoff Shaw's health began to decline in his older years, and he eventually passed away at the ripe old age of...
I don't know when a good time to tune out is.
Well, you don't get to choose it, baby. That's the point.
You don't. I'm going to go 92.
92. The coroner found his cause of death to be...
stress-related.
But he will forever be remembered by way of a statue in Frankston facing Kananook Creek.
No, the bay. The bay.
And beneath that statue, a plaque bears his final words, which were...
Couldn't you have prompted me beforehand for these things? Very good, very good.
You can take it. I'd say it if I were you. His final words, Geoff Shaw's final words on the plaque.
From the guy who did his best for Frankston.
There it is. Please thank for his time, Geoff Shaw, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Good on you, mate. Good on you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
He's gone. You can come out now, Dennis. Oh, it's just a picture. Oh. My friends, thank you so much for joining me today for the first of this series. I'm sorry for getting your headmaster on some of you. I didn't really mean to I'm not trying to do a Tony Jones in silence. It's just that, I really struggled because there were people saying, oh, I can't believe you're associating with a horrible, vile man, and whether or not he's a horrible, vile man, he is a member of Parliament, so I think he's worth talking to. And on that note, I would like to finish with an ode to Geoff Shaw, now that he's left the stage. I can't be sure if Geoff Shaw is so sure of how surely he's sure to be missed when he goes. Not by the people, nor by the Parliament, nor by Ken Smith, I suppose. No, I'm sure that the ones who will surely be grieving his absence from Parliament's floor are the newspaper journalists who write the headlines and get to insert the word Shaw. To be sure, it was surely a God-given gift when the nation's sub-editors saw that the Member of Parliament causing the rift had a surname as simple as Shaw. All other stories were duly suspended as newspapers doubled their run, knowing that their circulation depended on who could produce the best pun. Sure to face court, sure to be jailed, sure in a punch-on, they cried. They desperately wanted to pun him to death, but Shaw took it all in his stride. They employed more cadets to assist with the task, but no one could keep up with Shaw. No sooner had one headline gone to the printers than Shaw had another in store. Surely he didn't, not sure what he spent. Who can be sure of his views? The puns remained present wherever Shaw went, and wherever Shaw went there was news. Till finally journalists gathered in Frankston and picketed outside his door. "We've run out of puns," they cried in despair, to which Geoff replied, "Are you sure?" And looking upon him, the journalists froze as the breeze blew on in from the shore, and they suddenly realised what everyone knows, that puns are what power Geoff Shaw. "Surely you knew this," said Shaw to the press. "Rest assured I'll keep giving you more of the stories you run in return for your puns, because I need you and you need Geoff Shaw." Thank you, my friends. I would like to thank Oren over here on Lights and Sound. I would like to thank everyone here at the Wheeler Centre for hosting these events. I would like to thank you guys for coming along and being a delightful audience. Thank you so much. And just before we wrap up, one more final little thing. I found out in my research, I did do some research, I found out a certain skill of Geoff's, and I thought, look, I'll give it a shot. He didn't say no. So to finish the show, please welcome back the independent member for Frankston, who I think we could all agree after this week has earned the right to blow off a bit of steam. So, take it away, Geoff.
Thanks. I'll do two for you. That wasn't it. Thank you.
Thanks, Geoff. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sammy. Good on. Thanks.
Play now, Oren. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you for the next show with Lindsay Tanner. Thank you so much.